Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It's Norb here and I have another battle versus video for you guys today. Of course, we are looking at one of the most recognizable JDM icons in movie history. It's Brian O'Connor's Nissan Skyline R34 GTR from the movie Too Fast, Too Furious. And here I have two 1:64 versions to compare. An older release by Fast and Speed and a brand new release by Focal Horizon. But before we unbox them, let's take a quick look at the base car, and I have a couple models already prepared just to help tell the story. Let's get into it. And starting out with the base car, this is the Mini GT R34 GTR V-Spec 1 in Bayside Blue. This car came out around about a year or so, and it's number 759, and I thought it's just a nice way to show the standard variant of the GTR. Pretty stock looking, subtle body lines and aero as well. And of course we've got this iconic quad 4 round tail lights. The standard R34 GTR came with an RB26 DETT twin turbo straight 6 and a 6-speed Getrag gearbox, sending power to all four wheels via Nissan's Atessa ETS Pro system, a true engineering icon. And of course it came to notoriety via games like Gran Turismo and of course movies such as Fast and Furious. And I must say, the opening scene of Too Fast, Too Furious, where Brian is making his way to the street race, and even the short prelude before when Brian actually buys the car, are still some of my absolute favorite moments in the entire franchise. And so now we get to the movie version of the car, and I have here for you the silver R34 with the blue stripes, exactly from the movie, just like the one that Brian O'Connor drove in Too Fast, Too Furious. So here it is in 1:18 scale. This one is made by ERTL Joyride, and this is actually a bit of a custom model that I built. Of course, I'll be diving into all the details properly in a future upcoming video as well on the channel, but I thought it's really perfect for showing the upgrades that turned the clean GTR into one of cinema's most famous cars. So the real car came from Craig Lieberman, a technical advisor and car supplier from the early Fast and Furious films. And of course, this was not a prop car. It was Craig's actual R34 V-Spec, fully tuned before Universal bought it in for filming. So he's actually talked in detail about the car's story, its specs, and what went into making it camera ready. So I'll be sharing a link to Craig's video down below as well. Definitely worth a watch if you love to see behind the scenes car stories. And of course, Craig's GTR wasn't just about looks. It ran a bigger HKS turbo, a Veil side intake plenum, custom exhaust, and upgraded intercooler as well, and a whole fuel system as well, tuned to around about 550 horsepower. And it was rocking this really beautiful C West body kit and a GT wing as well that was added for the movie. And along with all of those, the car was also rocking these beautiful 6-spoke HRE 446 19-inch wheels, as well as a full tane coilover system, and of course that iconic silver paint with blue stripes, easily one of the most recognizable liveries ever put on a Skyline. So now that we've covered the real thing and you've seen how wild this 118 variant is, let's bring it down to 164 and see how each company recreated this legend. First up, we start off with the Fast and Speed variant. This model came out around about a year ago and the price is around about £30 at the moment. The box looks pretty nice, simple but effective. Silver with the blue, and we've even got a beautiful picture in the background. So let's open it up. And here we go. So there you go, there's the picture as well. You can see it really nice and clear. It looks awesome, to be honest with you. And here is the car, looking really good straight away. A very loose case, that's not so great, but the car looks pretty awesome straight away out of the box. I can see that the proportions are really well done, and it really looks accurate to the R34 Skyline, and overall the car's quality looks really impressive. We've got the beautiful stripes, the writing seems to be very clear, and the paint quality is really exceptional as well. However, I can already tell you that this does not feature that C West body kit that's seen in the movie, but it still looks pretty awesome, and the livery is pretty much accurate to the one in the movie. The car is sitting on a plastic base, and we have a little plinth over here as well. It's one of 999, so let's get into it. And starting out with the roof, as always, we've got a pretty decent looking smooth finish on here, and we even have quite a bit of metallic flake in this paint as well. And then heading into the window, no window banner or anything, but we can already see the modeling on the interior, and we also have some nice 3D windscreen wipers. Furthermore, heading into the bonnet area, you can see we've got a pretty standard looking GTR bonnet, and because this is the V-Spec one, it doesn't have any kind of nacre duct or anything like that on here. It's just a smooth finish. Of course, the two blue stripes, really good quality, and we have some sponsor logos here, HKS, JIC, and so on. And interestingly enough, the other cars are a little bit different, so we'll have a look at those in a moment. And we even have really nice shut lines around the bonnet area as well. And of course, heading into the front mask of the car, you can see we've got a really awesome looking front bumper, although it is more Z-Tune style rather than the C West body kit the car has in the movie. And we even have some nice little indicators over here. However, they're not finished in orange as they should be like in the movie. And you can see we've got a nice little GTR logo, quite a lot of three-dimensionality in the grills as well, and even there's double intakes on the front. And in the center, we've got a number plate. However, the movie car didn't have one in the front. And we also have a nice little intercooler there. And if I show you the one in the 1 to 18 scale, it should actually have some of these sprayers in the center over there just for the intercooler cooling. Essentially, it sprays water, but this is missing those details. And you can see it's even got the standard GTR bottom lip as well. So it's pretty similar to the one in the movie, but not exactly the same. But we do have some really nice looking lights here as well. Quite a lot of depth of detail. You can even see the bulbs inside them. And the cover is just finished off in this acrylic. And then heading into the front 3/4, we've got a few more logos, Nitrous Express and K&N, and we've even got that typical GTR Air outlet, and of course the stripes start in this area here. And now getting to the front 3/4, I just thought I'd take the car off the plinth as well so we can move it around and have a look at it a bit better. And you can see on the front fender, we've got really nice quality of paint here. Beautiful looking light lines heading off these soft surfaces here. Although, however, this edge is kind of chiseled, and that is because it's got the Z-Tune front fender, and you can actually see it would have a sort of air outlet in this section, and that's very Z-Tune specific, and the normal car is more smooth over here. So it's not exactly the same as the movie car. We've got a nice little orange indicator here, the GTR GT logo. Now, of course, we get to these epic looking 6-spoke wheels, just finished off in silver over here. But as you can see, these look more like TE37s. However, the movie car was using those HRE 446s. So with that, we also don't have a polished lip or anything like that. But they do look really nice in terms of size and give the car a really planted looking character here as well. And of course, just behind them, we've got the brakes as well, finished in silver. And then we've got calipers too. And you can see the wheels rotate pretty nicely too. And pretty decent tread here as well. And while we're here, we can see the underneath. And I must say, they've done a really great amount of modeling. You can even see all the little sections, including the transmission, the drive shaft, and of course, this full exhaust system running from the front to back as well. Even the section for the spare wheel. So I must say, great modeling on the underside of the car. And now coming to the side, you can see we've got this beautiful big body kit here as well. However, it is not exactly like the C West one, although it is a little bit similar, but at least we've got the nice stripes running all the way up, and those look pretty much accurate to the movie as well. And beautiful looking shut lines and quite an interesting looking section over here. So quite a lot of three-dimensionality, and you can even see the way the light hits off all this three-dimensional edges, and it gives your car quite a nice planted character. Once again, super JDM tuning style, so great modeling there. Then we've even got the little handles and wing mirrors too, and they actually have a bit of reflection there, so that's nice to see. typical GTR kind of D yellow, just finished off with his black surround and black for the B pillar as well, and pretty decent visibility into the interior too. And now we get to the rear quarter panel here, and you can see we've got once again nice surfaces here, especially on this rear blister. And I've always been a fan of the R34 with that blister over there. It gives the car such a nice planted look. It's almost got like a slight wide body look to it. And you can see here on the standard variant as well that it just looks like that, how beautifully the light lines hit off that section. And it's really awesome when you kind of look at it in profile like that, how wide it makes the wheels look. So that's always a great detail to see there. And of course we get to the rear wheels, and they spin pretty nicely as well. Actually, you can see, yeah, there you go, some nice spin on those. So that's really awesome, but they're pretty much the same as the front. They're not staggered or anything like that. Nice split lines in this rear area as well, going all the way up to the surround of the tail lights, and of course the livery executes in the back here as well. And now heading into the rear mask, we've got the typical 4 round lights just finished off in red. So there is a bit of depth to them, but they're not separated or anything like that. And here is a mini GT in comparison, just so you can kind of see the difference between the two. Of course, this one also has the little GTR logo and the Nissan logo, and of course another brake light in the center, Toyo tires as it should be, and the license plate is blank. However, as you can see, this is like the movie car, it should be on Florida plates, and we've even got the little Toyo tires logo. However, I think it is a little bit bigger than the one in the movie head. And we even have some nice fog lights over here and reverse lights, and they are 3-dimensional and they look pretty awesome. And of course, we've got really great looking modeling on the rear diffuser over here, and really awesome looking reflections here as well. And coming to the exhaust, we've got quite a nice bit of depth here as well. And you can see we've even got a colored inside. Of course, the real car was running a full HKS titanium setup as well. And this one even has this cooler in the rear. And from this angle, we can also see we've got this gigantic GT wing on the back of the boot over here. And we've got quite a nice bit of details here. You can even see that we've got a split between the 2 sections of the wing, and you can see right through it. And we've got quite a massive end over there as well, just finished off in this black plastic. And we've even got these struts supporting the wing, really nicely finished. However, of course, this is not the same wing that was used in the movie, because the car in the movie used a Sea West wing that looked pretty much like this. It was a full carbon fiber wing, but the struts and everything was different, and it was of course finished in blue as well. So that's missing in this one, but it still looks pretty awesome to say the least. Then heading into the rear window, we've got some nice details here. You can even see we've got the speakers and even the defrost on the rear glass. However, I don't see a roll cage on the inside there, and once again, the movie car did feature a roll cage that looked like that, so that was visible from the back end. However, we are missing that little thing. But we do have windscreen wipers in the rear as well, and of course a pretty well detailed interior. So if we jump into it straight away, we can see it's been modeled extremely well. So we've got these really nice seats in here. They are pretty much accurate to the movie. The real car was running Sparco Milanos. And from here, you can even see that we've got some extra gauges on the passenger side, and that is pretty accurate because the dash includes a custom gauge pod for boost oil pressure, EGT, and water temp in the car in the movie. And of course, we've got a nice GTR steering wheel in here, and a lot of modeling even on the handbrake and gear lever. Not too much color, and I don't really see any gauges on the instrument cluster or anything like that, but really amazing looking modeling on the interior here. However, it's still straying a little bit far from the movie car because of course the movie one was running a NOS tank in the passenger seat, and we had a full roll cage in here as well, and this is missing those details. So quickly on the 118 I can show you, we've got the roll cage in there, and we've also got the NOS tanks in there, and of course you can see all the gauges and extra digital readouts in there as well. So it is a little bit different, but still great modeling nonetheless. And of course this side is pretty much the same as the first, except we've got the addition of the fuel tank over there. And here it is on the turntable, and we can get a really nice view of the car. And as you can see, it looks pretty awesome at first glance. The proportions are really solid, the silver and blue paint is really clean, and it definitely captures the spirit of the movie car. But of course, if you look closely, it's not a perfect replica. The car wears these TE37 style wheels, and of course the bumpers are not the C West style body kit, and even the rear wing is different, not to mention the missing parts of the interior section. So I get this feeling that this casting was originally designed for some other tuned R34s made by Fast and Speed, and they ended up just simply applying the Fast and Furious livery over it. But still, for what it is, I think it's a really nice looking model, and until now it was one of the only ones we could actually get of this car. But it's just not the most accurate take on Brian's Skyline. However, still really awesome in its own right. So let's check out the Focal Horizon and see how that one compares. And here we have it, the brand new Focal Horizon variant, or at least almost brand new. It's about a month or two old, and a beautiful box. And we've even got this amazing looking line art of the car here with this nice Focal Horizon writing, and of course the livery going around the box. Nice visibility, so let's open it up. And here we go. Oh yes, that looks immediately awesome. And here's a really cool picture of the car as well. So that's a really nice looking image, and you can actually see, strangely enough, this one is running those Z-Tune over fenders in the front. So this is not the actual movie car on this picture, or at least it seems to be the case for me. And here is the car finally. So pretty decent box, of course. And straight away, I'm extremely happy to report that this car is rocking that awesome looking C West body kit, and you can just see how much personality this thing has. My goodness, this is seriously impressive. So wow. Even the way the stance is, the car is sitting correctly on the road as well, and everything about it just looks pretty much perfectly accurate. Oh my goodness, just take it all in. This thing looks absolutely epic. And if you can already see, we've even got an openable bonnet on this. So this one should be a really awesome one to check out. And we can immediately see how beautiful the paintwork is on this car as well. Of course, the real one was painted in a color called Platinum Pearl by House of Color. And of course, we've got the signature blue livery, and even the wing is painted in blue. So overall, amazing looking car so far. And even the plinth is pretty cool. We've got this stitched look here, and here it says Focal Horizon GT-R34 limited of 999 once again, and we've even got this Fast and Furious livery over here. So let's actually check it out in more detail. And looking at the car a little bit closer, we can see that we've got this really heavy metallic flake in this paint here as well. It was similar to this car, however, I feel like this one's paint is not quite as heavy in the metal flake as this Focal Horizon is. And starting off with the roof, as always, here we can see we've got a really nice finish on the paint over here. And of course, heading into the front window, we can already see that we've got a few differences compared to the other one. Pretty movie accurate. Of course, some nice windscreen wipers as well. And of course, now we come to this bonnet area, and once again we've got this simplistic GTR bonnet with these beautiful blue stripes, and you can see how crisp the layering is on the paint over here. And of course, we've got the shopping list of companies, and now we can finally see the difference between the two. And here you can see that the logos are straight, and here they are skewed, and they are the same company logos, and they're in the same order as well. So that's pretty similar. But of course, here's where this car differs, because we've got this openable bonnet. So let's actually open it. And here we go. Oh, wow. So this is very typical Focal Horizon attention to detail. I really love that. Straight away, you can see we've got this beautiful RB26 in here, finished off in this blue, just like it was in the movie. Although in the movie car, you didn't actually see this detail. and we've even got some air intake in here and a massive turbo in the back, and we've even got this mushroom style air filter in the front here, reminiscent of the HKS ones. The real car was seriously mean under the bonnet. It produced up to 450 horsepower and featured HKS 2540 turbos, downpipes, 800cc injectors, HKS cams, blow-off valves, and even a full nitrous oxide system. So this thing is an absolute beast in real life, and I really love the amount of detail that's gone into this car. And now we get into this front mask area, and straight away we can see that it is pretty different to the Fast and Speed variant. So this one on the left was quite a bit more simplistic, and this Focal Horizon really reflects the movie car. We've even got the darkened lights over here, and the movie car had those as well. So you can see this one is a little bit darkened as well, but this is highly accurate. And of course, this beautiful Sea West body kit. And to be honest, Focal Horizon is the first company, and this car specifically is the first one that I've seen so far that's actually really nailed this kit and the way it looks, because I think one of the most unique looks that this car has is from this front angle, and especially this front bumper. It's extremely unique, and no one's really replicated it in scale properly before. So here we are. And of course, GTR logo in the center, nice three-dimensionality in all the grills, and even the orange indicators, as is movie accurate. We've got this blitz in the center, and the stripes run all the way down, and quite a bit of intriguing surfacing going on in the air intakes. It's kind of an organic look, but really suits the R34. However, one small detail that is skipped is we don't have that little water cooler that's in front of the intercooler over here. So that's a tiny detail that's still missing. And in the front quarter, Nitrous Express and K&M once again, and another little air outlet there. And from this angle, you can even see how cool this front splitter is and how naturally it flows over all the way to the side of the car. So it swoops all the way around and gives it a really awesome looking character. And I really like the soft approach of this style of bumper rather than the aggressive style of the Z-Tune like that. It's very square, whereas this one's a lot more rounded. Once again, beautiful looking light lines, nice soft surfaces, and this time we have the accurate cover over here, so no Z-Tune sections, the orange indicators, and even the little GT logo over here. However, it is pretty random, you can't really read it properly, and this Fast and Speed variant did a much better job on their GT logo. And of course, now finally to these incredible looking wheels, and these definitely do look like the HRE 446s that were in the movie. In the center they say GTR, and they are finished off in a chrome, and we've even got a polished lip over here. So the ones in the movie were finished off in a kind of metal sort of color with a polished lip, but this just went for full chrome. And of course, the wheels are split rims, so you can see the bolts running all around the edge as well. And as you can see, they rotate pretty nicely too. The tires on the car are Toyo T1R Proxies around all four corners, and the real car was running Stop Tech brakes, and you can see this one's got really nicely modeled brakes here as well. So really great attention to detail so far. And now heading off into the side of the car, we've got some nice shut lines on the doors. Once again, quite a bit of nice three-dimensionality on the surfacing, and you can see the soft approach to the geometry of the side of the Skyline. And of course, the side skirt finally reflects that Sea West style body kit, and this one was running a different setup over here. This is more of a Nismo style side skirt, so you can kind of see the differences between the two here. And while we're at it, I actually want to compare the two cars in size as well. So here we have it, wheel to wheel. You can see that the wheelbase is pretty much the same amount of overhangs, almost. Maybe this one is a little bit longer in the rear, but in terms of scale, both of them are pretty accurate to one another. And of course, comparing to the Mini GT, you can see we do have pretty much the same identical sizes between these two cars as well. So really good accuracy for both of these models so far. And getting back into the side, pretty typical looking Skyline DLO once again, and we've got the reflection in the mirror too, and we even have the door handles over here. So if we want to look at the modeling, they are almost identical between the two cars. In terms of quality, there's not really much to be able to say between the two. Both of them have super crisp lines and surface work. Of course, the rear quarter, once again, we've got that beautiful blister over here, and you can see the three-dimensionality that we have in this area over here, especially above the rear wheels. And I'm always a fan of that area over there. And the rear wheels are pretty much the same as the fronts. However, you can see that the brakes are a little bit smaller. On the real one, they were running 14-inch rear brakes with 4-piston calipers. And I just want to see if this one did it as well. And it seems to be the case that this one also had larger brakes in the front and smaller in the rear. So really awesome attention to detail once again in both of them in that aspect. Continuing further into the back, the C-West body kit continues to the rear, and once again in the rear mask we become very much movie accurate. We've even got these 3 little air outlets in the rear, and of course that was present on the real car and the movie car there as well. And to be honest, I actually cut these up myself because I really wanted to have them there because it was annoying it didn't actually have it. So this car does have it, and that's really awesome news. I'm happy about that. And we've got GTR on the number plate. Unfortunately, it's not Brian O'Connor's plate once again, but we've got the fog lights and the reverse lights too. And we've got quite a lot of depth in the modeling of these tail lights as well. They look really awesome. Of course, the Toyo tires in the center and a little GTR logo and even a keyhole above that. And of course, the Nissan logo. So if you want to have a quick comparison, here you go. The two are side by side. I'd say this Focal Horizon's rear lights are a lot more crisp, and of course we've got that center brake light as well. However, the back of this was pretty good with the logo work. It seems like maybe this ones are like a little bit skew, but to be honest, at this scale, I mean, you can't see at all. But what is interesting between those two is the approach to surfacing. So you can see how soft this one is, especially under this third brake light, and how harsh the line is on that horizontal split just over there above the logo on this car. And one thing that I really like about the C-West body kit as well is it takes away this soft rear end of the GTR over here, and it actually accentuates the visual length with these horizontal lines that split the car up, and it really gives it quite a lot more character and width in the car. So that's really awesome. And of course, that beautiful HKS titanium exhaust over here as well. Quite a lot of depth of detail in this section. And once again, we've got that cooler over here, although this time just finished off in a dark gray, so it's not quite as visible as it was on the previous one over there. And of course, from this angle, we've got a beautiful view of the underside of this blue wing. So that is pretty much movie accurate. And we've even got the correct struts over here with little venting between it. And we've even got the logo on the side as it should be on the movie, and even the little bolts on the side. So this one also had those bolts, but I had to custom make this wing, so I couldn't get that logo, unfortunately. So that's one of those things. But of course, this one is also dead straight, and that's also how it is in the movie. And you can see that this variant is a little bit curved. And of course, from this angle, we can also see into the interior of the car. And there's a really cool shot in the movie that's a top-down shot, and it's kind of driving by like this, and all the neons are switched on as it's pulling up to the race line. And that was always one of my favorite scenes, and you could see the neons in the back. And of course, this roll cage here as well. And here we've even got the defrost in the window, and great modeling in the interior, and rear windscreen wiper too. And finally we get to the interior, and straight away we've got these beautiful Sparco Milano seats finished off in blue, and a red 5-point harness by Sparco as well. And what's cool is you can actually see the harnesses run all the way into the rear as well, just like it would in a real car. So that is absolutely epic attention to detail. And in the center, we've got pretty good modeling there as well, with the handbrake and the gear lever. And of course, straight away, we can see the nitrous bottles. And we've even got those 4 HKS gauges on the other side as well. And in the center, we can even see that it's got a screen in the middle. Of course, the real car was running a full Clarion setup, essentially. But we are missing the A-pillar gauges that were in the car as well. Of course, both of the cars were missing missing those. They are on the 1/18 variant just over there, but to be honest, I had to install those myself, but in the movie it was a double set of gauges like that. And of course we've got the little Sparco steering wheel as well, and the interior is really beautifully finished off. Of course, from this side, let's get a closer view at these Nitrous Express bottles. So they are finished off in chrome with this blue top. However, in the movie they did have the Nitrous Express logos just like that. So that's a tiny detail missing. I feel like they could have put some decals on here, but you can see even in the rear seats they are finished off in blue, and that's amazing attention to detail. And of course this side is the same, but we've got some fuel filler caps over there. And here we have the car spinning around in all its glory, looking absolutely epic. They have really nailed this one. The body kit is absolutely spot on. Every vent, lip and contour matches the real C West design, and it looks exactly like the movie car did. And of course even the wheels and the GT wing are accurate to the one that was on Craig Lieberman's original car. And of course we've got that beautiful interior detailing, surprisingly good. There are a tiny bit of details that could be added, but it's really epic, even down to the seat shapes and the color layout. And of course we've even got that epic opening bonnet with that beautiful little RB26 nestled in there. But the only thing that's missing is the number plate. Instead of the film's actual plate, it just says GTR. So I'm just guessing that's probably due to licensing. Maybe they couldn't officially label it as the Too Fast Too Furious car without like Universal's approval. But still, in terms of accuracy and finish, this one easily looks and feels like the definitive 1/64 version of Brian's Skyline. So here they are both together, and my final thoughts. Well, the Fast and Speed Skyline looks really great on display. The paint and proportions are really solid, but of course to me it's clear that they reused a generic tuned R34 mold. And actually, in fact, I have the same casting in another release, the pink Suki's S2000 livery from the same Too Fast Too Furious movie. Of course this is just a fantasy build over here, and it's also printed over the same Skyline body. Super fun looking and a really funky build, but definitely not movie accurate at all. And then of course there is the Focal Horizon version, and honestly this one is on another level. The body kit, the stars, the details, everything lines up with the actual C West R34 from the movie. And if you want to learn more about the real car in its full glory, definitely check out Craig Lieberman's video. I'll link it down below. It's a brilliant deep dive from the guy who actually owned and supplied the original car for the film. And of course, I'll also be doing a full 118 review video in the future as well for you guys. And talking about 118s, I've also covered a 118 Liberty Walk GTR on the channel as well. And this one is a Paul Walker tribute model as well. So check out the link for this video down below as well. Of course, if you're more into 164s, I've also done an amazing video about the Focal Horizon Skylines R32 and R33, and even Hans Veilside Zs over here. And coming soon to the channel, I'll also be doing a battle video of the Veilside Fortune RX-7, of course Hans' car from Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and it's going to be the Tarmac Works versus Time Micro, but I'm actually still waiting for the Mini GT variant, so it's going to be a 3-car showdown and should be a really awesome one, so stay tuned to the channel for that. And of course all the links for everything will be just down below, and thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy. Ciao.